Hey, we are live.
Live and direct.
Yep.
Welcome to Learning with Boom and Fluency. Don't forget, it's all about that boom and fluency, that spark in the flow. The flow, don't you know? What's going on, Boom?
Yeah, I'm so excited for today. And today in our show, we have Matt. And
Woo!
Sorry,
yeah,
don't know better background.
no, I'm so
Hey,
excited.
Matt doesn't need any bells and whistles in background. You said this is not just Matt. This is Matt Upham. This guy. Well, you're gonna tell us about him a little bit, Boom, and then he'll tell us too. No,
Yeah,
tell us
definitely.
what do you know about this guy?
Like, what do I know about this guy? The reason I'm so excited is we had some amazing people from education here on the podcast, and we had the EduVerse festival, yeah, and in these conversations, they all were saying, "Hey, we need to bring people young people, new people who see education differently, who see the platforms and social media differently, who know something that we might not know, so that then we can collaborate and kind of connect the experience and the new vision of the new world."
Yeah.
And I can't actually now think of a better person for this.
You don't
Than,
have to think. You don't have to
yeah,
think.
yeah, because
We
Matt,
got him,
first
man.
of all, yeah, first of all, Matt is a developer. He's a software developer, so he is a tech head. Second of all, Matt is an educator. And I think he'll definitely tell us more about it. But his mission is to bring people that are kind of not sure that they can do it into the profession by kind of getting them excited about it on social media. And Matt is killing it on social media. He has about 500,000 followers in TikTok, about 100,000 on Instagram, 35,000 on YouTube. Yeah, and Discord community, which is, I think, is the most awesome, meaningful thing, because there are like so many people that
The engagement.
yeah, just for you, not for the social media platform, and kind of happen to pass by and just like something, but these are the people that onboarded. So Matt, hi.
Hey. So yeah, maybe I'll do like a quick intro. I guess like
please.
Cool. Yeah. So pretty much like I guess it all started back in college when I was trying out a bunch of things. I think I went to college for civil engineering. Realized I didn't really like that, so I tried a CS class and didn't really do too well. I think I got like a C in it, and I was like, this is not for me. I think the first topic was like recursion, and I wish I had known it was a weed out class. If I had, I would have definitely stuck with it. But I think like I got to the point where I was like, this is not for me. I'm just gonna switch to something else. So I did industrial engineering, and my thought process was like, I like working with people, and I want to do like an engineering based thing where I can like work with people. So did that for the rest of college. Did a bunch of internships. Hated them all. And then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. So I graduated early in 2016. And then, kind of figured it out along the way. I'd picked up like a camera halfway through college and was just like doing a lot of nature photography. I love like skiing and hiking. So I was doing a lot of that and like grew an Instagram following and started working with companies and stuff. And that was just like kind of the cool start to it. But then I realized I needed a life change. So I packed in my car and headed out west without a plan. I'd never been out west before. So went and saw all the national parks, landed in Las Vegas after 2 months of driving around in my car and crashed with a friend on his couch. And I was able to like stay there for a few months and like dabble in like a bunch of different things. So I think I tried out sales for a little bit. I continued with the photography, trying to monetize that. Didn't really work out. And then I was like, I need a career change, but I don't want to go back to school. So I ended up pursuing the coding, and I was like, I'm just going to learn this. Like, I'm going to sit down and force myself to figure it out. So I think after like probably 3 or 4 weeks, I ended up deciding like I want to go to a coding bootcamp after I had just coded on like, free platforms for a bit. So I did a lot of research into those and ended up contacting people on LinkedIn who had gone to see if like, are these actually legit or are these like a scam? And yeah, I got some pretty good feedback. So ended up choosing one and then moved to San Francisco in November of 2017 did about 3 months at that boot camp, and then got a job in March of 2018 at Twilio. They're like a communications company. And yeah, I think, 6 months after that, I got a job at the current startup I'm at now. So that was kind of the whole journey. But like, I never really wanted to only do the day job. Like I always wanted to have a side hustle. So did like a bunch of these side hustles. I did one where I bought these 2 really large Instagram accounts that reposted content in like the nature photography space, and ended up selling ads on those for about 2 years. I think one of them had 1.2 million followers, another one had 800,000, and ended up selling those off in 2019 and kind of getting out of that space. I realized I didn't really like that. It just felt like, very impersonable, like not having a personal brand. And I was like, I got to get back into this whole personal brand thing. So ended up in 2019 starting YouTube, and that was more of like, how to get into tech. I did that for about a year, put out like 50 videos. It was a lot of work and only got like 2,000 subscribers. So I was like, this is ridiculous. Like there's no return on investment. So then the pandemic hit, and I was like, I want to get back into this some way. And I was like, TikTok is blowing up, so let me try out TikTok. I think I tried out like a personal finance TikTok for about a month. That didn't work out. And then I went back and restarted a TikTok in tech in like, what was it, like April? Yeah, April of 2020. And then I don't know, it just blew up. I don't really know how or why, but I was just like running with it. I think like, yeah, after like 6 months, I think I got to like 150,000 followers. And then I think I worked with TikTok and their Learn on TikTok campaign. And that was like mostly, how to get into coding, stuff around that, like tech tips. And yeah, then I restarted an Instagram. And then in January of last year, I launched a course as a test. And I had no content yet, but I did it as like a seed launch or whatever, where you build the content like after you've sold everything. So yeah, did that. That was pretty good. Got like 60 people to sign up, and learned a lot through that process. I do want to get back and like build a full course eventually. But that was kind of like the first time I've actually made money on like this stuff. And that was really cool. And then I think in February of 2020, that's when my Instagram blew up. I think I had a viral video that hit like 10 million. So then that all came together. And I've had this in Discord ever since the YouTube, but the TikTok was what really blew up the Discord. So now I've just like gone on all these platforms and I'm like making these videos for all these platforms. And I think the whole goal is like, how do I make videos that get people interested in technology, regardless of like what background they're from or like where they're at or what they know? And then how do I get them at the top of the funnel into the point where they want to learn more about like coding? So I've kind of gotten very general at this point, but I still have that greater idea in mind. Like, how do I get people interested and then kind of like show them what opportunities are out there? Because, back when I was in high school, college, I didn't know any of this existed. And everything would be different now if I had known that.
Wow. That's super important motivation. Wow. Boom, man. You better ask a question, because I've got like 13 questions like ready to go, and I'm trying to file them in the right order. So if you got one, go ahead, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think the question is, when the TikTok blew up, like, do you remember what kind of the feeling and like when you felt it, like, and what is the thought process? Because I see so many people in education and actually anywhere, like they think, oh, I should like start a YouTube and like TikTok, and and it's a lot of work. But like you were saying, it's not work for nothing, because you are learning to do it. When they don't see like a result after 10, like after a month, they're like, whatever, it doesn't work. But here, I hear you saying like 6 months, like a year.
Tried this.
Yeah, that's what it takes. Yeah. And after putting so much time and effort, when you actually like see that it's getting traction, like, what do you feel? What is your thought process like? Yeah.
If I can just break in for 1 second and just add on to that question, because I love that question. It's perfect. I just want to add one thing, which is when you say it's a lot of work, we all know this, but I think a lot of work piece has maybe changed over the years for different platforms. I know we've got a lot of teachers watching this who will be very interested to know, what does a lot of work mean now? And maybe with TikTok, it's probably all of these things, but maybe there's one that's more or less than before in terms of content creation, engagement, you know, when you post, how you post, like different things like that would be really interesting also.
Yeah, definitely. So I think if I think back to like how I originally started on social media when I was posting photos, you know, back then I did it completely incorrectly. There was this app called, I forget what it was called. It was like Crowdfire, where you would plug in your Instagram account and you would literally just like, comment, and follow people like crazy, and that's how you would build a following. But like it wasn't a good way to build like an engaged following. So I think I felt like, you know, after doing 2 years of that, it just like wasn't, I kind of felt like I messed up, you know? And the promise I made to myself, like going into like this ecosystem, like for the tech stuff, is like, I'm going to build this completely organically and like figure it out. So let's see. So yeah, the whole YouTube thing, I mean, so here I think is the big difference between YouTube and then the short form video platforms is that, you know, it takes so much effort to make a piece of YouTube content where, you know, I made 50 videos in that year, but I really didn't have an opportunity to like fail quickly. Like, you know, it took so much effort to make all these different videos. And I didn't have enough of a sample size to see what works and what doesn't. But with the short form video, I was putting out, I think for 4 or 5 months, I was putting out 5 short form videos a day. And that gave me enough data to figure out like what works and what doesn't. And I think it was like, you know, I was just going to like commit to it and put out as many videos as possible. And so that first year, like made a lot of really, I don't know, ridiculous videos and like all that stuff. And kind of saw like what works and what doesn't. And I think like,
but we're saying why, like, wow. But in a way, like, I mean, that's less work, right? Than a YouTube video.
Yeah.
You know, and like you're saying, you get much more, you know, knowledge, you gain much more, you know, you get more feedback and you can figure out more by having more data.
And like, the thing about TikTok right now is it's like free organic engagement, where for so long Facebook and Instagram would not give people organic engagement. It was so hard to grow on those platforms. But you know, TikTok really focused on just, it was free. As long as you made a video that like did well and resonated with people, it would blow up. And that was like truly amazing. I think like, you know, the first viral video I had, it was some like stupid video about like some AirPods like update. It was just really stupid and it ended up going viral. But like, I think the one that changed everything was there was a trend about like people coding something whenever they got a new follower, it would do something. So my friend had a dog who had like one of those like bark collars on. So I took the bark collar and like put it on my neck and said, every time, you know, I coded this thing, every time I gain a new follower, it shocks me. And that ended up going like super viral. It was like 3.5 million. And I think from that video, I got like 100,000 followers. I'm like, oh my God, this is like crazy.
Yeah, it's like an original gimmick, like connected to someone who's got cool ideas and content. Like, no, isn't that what it is? Because you could do, somebody else could do the dog collar thing and it could blow up for a second and then they're finished. But it's kind of like, this is a way, you know, like gateway into like checking out other stuff you have, right? I think that's really important.
Yeah. And I think like, I don't know, I think just the exposure from that like really allowed me to like build like this ecosystem and kind of like, you know, start porting people over to Discord. I think, you know, after that viral video, I then tried to do all these like different series that all had like some kind of like gimmick or like something that was like engaging. And I think the one that really blew up the Discord was this one with like the anonymous mask or whatever, like the hacker mask. And it was like all these like stupid little videos, but I had a call to action on every single one, like join our Discord if you want to learn more about tech. That ended up like one video went super viral in January and then like broke the Discord bot. So like people couldn't get in the Discord because there was like too much traffic. So, you know, stuff like that has been crazy. And I think everything really, really came together when I started cross-posting. So my thought is like, I'm making all these videos now, but I can't make unique content per platform without going crazy, you know? So what I do now is instead of making a TikTok, I make like one short form piece of content and I post it on every single platform I have. So I posted on both my TikTok accounts, both my Instagram accounts, my YouTube shorts, my Snapchat, my Twitter, and Facebook Reels. And being able to like take one piece of content and repurpose that for like 6 or 7 pieces of content has been wild. I mean, I've been able to, you know, kind of quadruple the work and exposure across all platforms. And I think now when I, you know, do stuff like working with brands, I can charge so much more because I have like diversity in platforms.
But that sounds too good to be true. Like, so my feeling before, because like I'm an old head, I'm an OG, in this social media world. Like that idea of oh, I can just take a piece of content and shoot it out everywhere used to just like, I mean, maybe it was me, but that never worked. So do you think something's changed, or do you think you found some kind of formula? Do you think that's true for everybody, or you think you have to get to a certain level with your audience that you can just create the content and, like you say, just put it out and across different platforms?
Yeah, so I think I think number one, I don't know if there's a formula. Like, I definitely still have not cracked that. All these platforms have very different algorithms, and I think the challenge is sometimes a video on one platform will do well, but then on another platform won't.
Yes.
So, but I found, like, more often than not, if a video does well on TikTok, it will generally do well on the other platforms. It might not go as viral, but my most viral video ever was on Instagram, number 1, and then YouTube, number 2. TikTok is the third. So it's like TikTok has not had my most viral videos, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean, like, and the other thing is, like, it only takes one video to really start taking off. But to get to that point, you have to be putting out like tons of videos, to see what happens. Some people get lucky, some people start out and just get like lucky, but like I think for most people, you're gonna have to try out a lot of content to see what works. But yeah, for the cross posting, like, I found like some of these algorithms, I'm convinced they're random. Like, I don't know, it just seems like, it's every metric I track, it just doesn't make sense why one video goes viral over another, when like the metrics of one video might be so much better than the one that went viral. And it's like, I don't know why. I feel like, TikTok is like, the algorithm is like a black box. And I feel like at this point, it's like just a slot machine. You just got to keep playing until like something wins.
But it's so reassuring. It's so comforting to hear you say that, like coming from somebody who's like because I don't even want to look at those analytics or any of that stuff, because that's the feeling I get. But I feel like it's because I'm an ignoramus. So if you're saying that it's this, then I'm going to stop fretting so much.
Yeah,
but boom, I'm sorry, Fedor, I'm sure you have questions here, and you have some similar stuff going on here with Matt, with content you're creating, and also you've got the coding background and everything else. So let me get out of the way and let you ask some questions here, man.
My question about the platforms, because I hear a lot of advice that like create unique content for each platform, etc. So when you're like reposting, is your strategy that you have like a certain group of people on every kind of platform, and they don't have to kind of be interested in what's happening? Like if I'm on your Instagram, I don't have to be curious about what's on TikTok, because on TikTok it's the same thing, but that's okay because I'm just like an Instagram person, and I'll be following you this way. Is that the kind of the thinking behind that?
Yeah, so I've almost never asked people from one platform to follow on another platform, but I've asked everyone to go into the Discord or
Discord.
So I try to centralize everyone there, and I try to grow all the channels independently, and I found that's been pretty effective. But like, so one thing I have found is sometimes, all my videos are usually between like 11 and 15 seconds. Sometimes they might be a little longer, but almost never over 30 seconds. And I've found that Instagram is much more forgiving with your content. So if you put out like a 20 to 30 second video, it might do pretty well on Instagram. But on TikTok, for me, it always flops. Like for me, the sweet spot is between 8 and 15 seconds always. I've almost never had a video over 15 seconds go viral. And I think, some people have been able to figure that out. I haven't. Like I still don't know, I still have videos that don't do well on these platforms. So I don't know if there's like a, every time like a guaranteed way to go super viral, especially if you're like focused on a niche, like, something like tech. It's like, oh, I wish I could do something like extremely generalized, because then I could probably go like super viral. But like, if I want to stick to my, niche or category. So, but I'm like trying to figure that one out. But I think, there are a few little tricks you can use. Number one is like, definitely having that opening clip being something that like catches someone's eye or makes them stop scrolling. I think number two is definitely having a call to action, or making people wait until the end to give an answer. I think you can ask a question up front, wait till the end to give an answer. Anything that can just get people to the end of the video, I think, is key. Also, another really stupid one, and unfortunately this does work, but if you have any anything that's like incorrect in the video, people will just rush to the comments to like, you know, go crazy and like correct you. So I always try to add in like a spelling error, or I try to pronounce it incorrectly. You know, everything is definitely calculated. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, your content's so stupid." I'm like, this is literally calculated so I can try to go viral. Like, but
it's so funny.
like that might backfire because then people think I'm like, you know, like an idiot. But it does work.
If you know that they know that you know that they know that you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like some of my most viral videos have always had something that's incorrect, or like, you know, something that people can point out, or they have to go hop in the comments and give their opinion. That's pretty big.
Wow.
Or anything that like can get people very like, you know, either angry or fearful.
Right. Sure.
Unfortunately,
Engaged.
I mean, it's known, like, you know, at least on Facebook, the Facebook algorithm promotes like content that's polarizing, and it's unfortunate, but it's how the algorithm works. And it's like, part of my job is literally to battle these algorithms, right? So it's like,
it's unfortunate, and it is our job to battle the algorithms, but there's also a difference between, you know, ridiculous, like, you know, waste of time, trolling type debate, and like healthy debate. So if you, you know what I mean? So if you got them engaged and it's healthy, even if it's something silly that you put in, if that leads them to better content and better people like you, like, you know what I mean? Like,
there's nothing wrong about correcting spelling mistakes. You know, if you like actuate people to teachers for you for a second, that's great. That's not polarizing, really. Yeah.
And so like recently my strategy is like TikTok is much more about volume than anything else I've found, and like Instagram is kind of where you want to provide a lot of value. So I've been trying to post more to TikTok, and then only choose the videos that are like providing value to people to post on Instagram. I found like that's I think where I'm tweaking my strategy now. I actually opened up a test TikTok account to try something, and I posted like, I think like 100 videos in a day, and that ended up blowing up from like, you know, 0 to 40K in about like 2 weeks. So, but I was like reposting all my viral videos. So at least now I have like a backup TikTok to like do all these experiments with. And then I did that with Instagram too, and I was able to get that Instagram from like 0 to about 30K in about a week. And now it's at about 55K, and that's just my backup. So it's like kind of cool to have these backups to do experiments with and all that stuff.
Super cool. You went from experimenting to try to figure out like how to get huge number of followers to now where you've got the huge number of followers, but you can continue to experiment, and that's really awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing about like a lot of business books, you know, then where people that are, you know, successful, they say that of course there's the compound interest, but also they're saying like, I have a pretty good kind of confidence that if I had to start from scratch, I would make it fast, because now you just know what to do, and your mind is primed. And this is exactly, and it's incredible. This is what you're proving, you know, now, like you lose your account, you know, and you would say, oh, disaster, because it's like 4 years of your life, but because you've learned and mastered and iterated and, you know, keeping track of like what works, you can recreate it for yourself, for other people, you know, eventually maybe like write a book, make you know, kind of a course about it, because you just now start
for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But boom, he said he doesn't have a formula. Meanwhile, like I'm thinking about everything I've just heard. It's like, you know, I'm seeing something here.
But oftentimes that's what I also notice in education, you know, and talking with really successful people in their like niches, because they spend years doing that, they might not even notice all the strategies and all the little things. And it takes like a conversation with someone who is really curious, but like haven't figured that out, to actually start to, you know, realize, wow, there's so much that you're doing. You know, we haven't even touched like the way you're filming, like your stack, you know, and your background in photography. Like, I'm sure that it's all kind of, you know, it's all a part of this, you know, and all this kind of seemingly effortless kind of thing, start to break down. There's always, you know, like really serious content there. Yeah, I also like really the reason I added the link to your website. I really love the way like you were saying, it's a really good illustration, and I want to like everyone to take a look at the website, because you have all these different channels, but then there is Discord and there is a website where everything kind of comes together, and you can see like, okay, this is my message, this is who I am, these are my platforms, this is the call to action, you know, these are like the courses or like the community, etc. So it's like one central hub for everything. And I think, again, it's kind of, when you see it, it's so obvious, but I don't see a lot of people do it this way.
So Matt, was that your idea, or were you inspired by somebody else? Because I had the same feeling, like it's so clean and clear. It's like, you know, it's just a joy to like look and see what you're doing. Like, so yeah, where did you come up with that?
Yeah, so I think like, you know, I think I saw a lot of people blowing up on TikTok, but I would go to their other platforms and they had 0 followers whatsoever. And what ended up, I think, really sparking building this ecosystem is in January of this year, I had like endless takedowns on TikTok. Like, I don't know what was up with their algorithm or their AI or whatever, but it was like taking down all my videos. And it got to the point where it's like, I cannot rely on one platform. I need to be really focused on building this ecosystem. I think it just, okay, there we go.
Yeah. That was intentional. That's the close-up. Boom's working the boom.
Yeah, so I think like, you know, building an ecosystem was my goal, because my thought is like, you know, I can definitely reach more people by building an ecosystem, because not everyone's going to be on TikTok, especially with India. You know, Reels was being pushed hard in India, but India banned TikTok, right? So it's like I can hit all these new people over there worldwide. And the same with YouTube. It's like, you know, YouTube is pretty wild too. So I didn't really see many people, you know, cross posting. I see a lot of people like casually putting their content on Instagram that have a decent following on TikTok, but they aren't really aggressively going at it. But my thought is like, if I can just kind of go everywhere, I can like maximize my reach. And, you know, pros and cons to that. I think if I really focused only on TikTok and really focused only on the TikTok algorithm, then I could probably do pretty well on TikTok and grow quicker there. But then I would lose out on all these other channels. And I think, you know, my end game goal for content is become a YouTuber. Like, I think that's where a lot of creators go to build like longevity. It's like on YouTube. So yeah, I recently hired a team of YouTube editors. I've been going through a lot of like YouTube content, just like learning how to work with them. And hopefully 2022 is going to be my YouTube year. I don't know. We'll see. YouTube is hard. YouTube is so hard compared to these short.
It is so hard, but good luck. I'm learning a lot now, and you know, looking at Marcos, who does the tech reviews, yeah, amazing, and Casey, who's doing like the kind of the live thing, like, and also kind of breaking out. I mean, Mr. Beast, etc. And you know, they've put out actually video courses that where they break down the strategies and their process, etc. It's incredibly interesting, and definitely like what I love about this, Matt, is that in a way it feels like you are creating a brand, you are creating a company out of yourself. Like the depth at which you are looking at it and diversifying, and like diversifying not your kind of monetary investment in this case, but like your time investment and your attention investment, and then you know, your kind of you know, currency is like the people and the people's attention, which is actually now everyone is saying that like attention is the important thing. Not money anymore. It's the attention that is the most valuable asset. And now that you, like you were saying, now that you have people's attention on different platforms, and you know, and the brand, like the world is an oyster. What you can do with that, you know, launch courses, work like with companies and make ads, and like what. By the way, that's actually, I think that's a question. Like, what do you see? What are the opportunities once you've built this, you know, brand?
What are the opportunities, and also what's your heart telling you? Like, because you know you've got different ways you could go. I would imagine.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I feel like at this point I've tried a bunch of different things out to like figure out how to monetize. And, you know, I found that short term, the brand deals really are where you can make a lot of money really quickly. You know, the course was great, but it was tons of work up front. And I think like, I definitely want to focus on building like a more sustainable course going forward. But, that is a lot more work. And then you have to do all the marketing and everything. But if you already have the
100%.
personal brand, you can work with these companies and like you just put out videos, and I've gotten pretty creative with, how to think of it as like a business and give companies different packages. So I've been doing a lot of like upselling, and then a lot of like, packages where I can guarantee a base amount of views, and I'll keep creating content until we hit that. I've done other packages, like very big bulk packages that have like, 15 videos or whatever, stuff like that. So I've been trying to like really focus on thinking of this as a business, because I think a lot of creators don't think of their brand as a business. And then, I was able to hire like a VA, like a virtual assistant, and then these video editors. So that's been kind of cool to like, build this out. And we've been doing a lot of company outreach. And we set up Salesforce, and, we're tracking everything. And it's just been a lot to learn. I think like, I don't know. I definitely need to figure out how to scale, because I'm like, doing the day job and this is like, it's just a lot. But
you'll get there. I'm sure you'll get there sooner than
and Matt, like that's another question. Like, at which point do you decide that this is full time? Because like from what I'm hearing, this is already kind of takes three daytime jobs, like the and now you have the team, and now you have all of this, and you want to like grow YouTube, which again, like it's a more complicated
time.
So when is the point where you say, okay, like I'm ready to bet on myself, on the brand?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely fearful of quitting the day job, but I think it's going to get to a point where I'm just going to have to do it. I think, ultimately, I told myself, like, if I can have a product that is paying my monthly bills, then I'll quit the day job. But I think that's like, going to mean either like a course or like a platform, like building some kind of product that's outside of brand deals. Because I mean, the brand deals are wild. Like, they're great. I've definitely been able to make like a decent amount from the brand deals, but I don't know how sustainable those are. Those all hinge on views, where I don't want to be owned by the algorithm. Like, I want to have my own separate thing that is running on its own. I definitely don't trust these algorithms. They can pull the plug at any time. I've definitely seen that with Instagram after a few months, is like, they just like kill your growth. And it's like, I don't know why. Nothing really changed, but they just kind of killed my growth. Same with TikTok, but it's like funny, these new accounts are growing like crazy, and it's like I'm not doing anything differently. So stuff like that, where I don't want to bet only on views. I think that's like very risky. But I think if I can have a few different streams of income, like YouTube ads, hopefully are going to be huge. I think once people can figure that out, they can make a lot from YouTube ads, and then also the brand deals. But I think having a sustainable platform, I think, is the key. But yeah, I'm hoping within 2 years I'll be able to just quit the day job. But I also want to learn about Web3. So my next job is going to be at a crypto exchange. So I do want to do that a little bit and like learn about that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, because the thing about day jobs, I mean, it's like, it's interacting with people. I mean, you can learn a lot. You're telling us so much, and it's so useful about what you've learned sort of, yourself. And you can have a team and all of that, but that's not the same thing, right? It's like a job where you're around people that know more than you do.
I mean, like, even the stuff, like the coolest thing I think I picked up at my current day job that like I never would have thought was like working with Salesforce, is like I kind of learned how Salesforce worked at work, because our app is like, integrated into Salesforce. And then I was like, wait a minute, I can use this for my own business, use all these skills, CRM works, and like, use it for a sales funnel. And it like worked. I was like, wow, that is something I never thought I would be able to bridge over to this.
It's funny, like in the past, people worried about like non-compete clauses, and like now it's like, okay, don't worry, I'm not sharing information with anyone else, but I'm taking this, I'm making it my own. You don't have to worry about me with anyone else. You got to worry about me, like, on my own. Right?
Oh, I love this conversation also, because I think, Matt, in a year, you yourself looking at yourself a year ago with all this ambition, it's like, it's always so fun, because there'll be traction, but you don't know at this point where it will lead you.
And it's going to go.
Will it actually, now you said it, like 2 years from now, I will probably be ready to quit my day job. But maybe next thing you know, in February, you're like, okay, I understood crypto now. I'm ready to do it. Yeah. So it's also like really interesting. And I always say kind of hello to the future self.
Hello to the future self.
Yeah.
I want to make sure, because there's so many things we could talk about. I really want to get into what you and I were talking about. We wanted to talk to Matt about with the whole idea of decentralized organizations, you know, and what that could mean in the future for educators and all of that. So Boom, can you frame that a little bit for Matt? Because I think that would be really interesting to get his take on it.
Yeah, definitely. So our feeling with Jase is that educators can be kind of the next group to benefit from the Web3, because we've seen a kind of financial kind of people slash the investors first. Yeah, and the whole kind of cryptocurrency thing. Then we've seen artists and NFTs. Yeah, now it's all like a lot of it is about fashion. So great, the fashion people are coming into the picture. Yeah. Then who's next? And my guess is everyone else is next. But like, who will be actually the next one? And my feeling that educators, with everything that we have and all the products and everything and all the complementary superpowers, to get together and to say, wow, like I have the audience, I have the social media, I have the product, and to be able to leverage that together and to like earn together and, support also this can get, because it's education, this is helping people learn, which is so essential now because the world is developing so fast and people are feel behind, and so we catch up. Yeah, so like do you agree that this has the potential? And then tell us about your experiments in Web3 already, because I know you've done some interesting stuff.
I'm going to jump in, as I did once before, just add a tiny thing on that was so well said. I'm just going to add on there because don't you agree that the best teachers are what? They're artists. They're game makers. Right, so we have the gamers in, we got the artists in, right? Not the financial and business side so much, right? But definitely, right, not all teachers, but the best teachers, right? They've got the entertainment side, they've got the gaming side, they've got the how to inspire and think outside the box. Like that is to me also so exciting, because it's not like let's bring every teacher in, right? But the teachers, that there are teachers, passionate ones with those skills.
Yeah, I mean, I think learn to earn is definitely going to be huge. Like play to earn has already gained like a decent amount of traction, and we're only at the beginning, right? So it's like learn to earn, I feel like, is going to be really, really big, because so many people are taking online courses, right? But like they aren't getting really anything in return other than that. But like, how do you allow the people who don't have the resources to take time off to focus on learning? How do you benefit them? And I think if you give a way to like be able to pay them, then they'd be able to quit whatever they're doing. Like I have a few friends who I know from like high school who are like kind of stuck in these like dead end jobs, who are like, I want to make a career change, but I don't have the time to learn. And it's hard to take the time to learn. And I totally get that. I mean, like, working full time and then learning on the side, it's exhausting. And it's like, one of those things where when I went through the boot camp, I had the luxury of being able to take some time off to like focus fully on learning. But like most people probably wouldn't be able to do that. So it's like, how do you incentivize people, and how do you pay them to learn? I think that's pretty big. And I think the fact that they can earn in a token and not have anyone govern it or whatever, or not have anyone restrict their credits or whatever they earn from it. I mean, that's huge as well. And allow
for teachers, that would resonate so well for so many reasons. I'm not go back. I don't want to interrupt, but that's wow. That's
I mean, well, also the current education system, like teachers get paid nothing, right? But like
that was one of the variables I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, if teachers could get paid what they're worth, just like artists with NFTs are now getting paid like what they're worth,
And so many of them have incredible content and services that are, that have so much value but are not being appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you pay people what they're worth, they produce better stuff, and I think that's like ultimately like when you're now paying artists what they're worth, now the artists can pay their monthly bills. They're not stressed. They're able to be like super creative, like more creative than if they were like super stressed, with stuff like that. And I think, I think if you're able to incentivize students and teachers without having the, traditional school system, which is just so broken. I'm just, I have a lot of issues with the school system and like going through school and stuff like that. But like, I think, I mean, I don't know. I think crypto is the future. Crypto is going to hopefully save our generation. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think Web3, crypto, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So you told me that you try to create your coin, actually, like a token already, and we are all thinking about it, but not a lot of us are developers. So yeah, tell us about this experience.
Yeah. Well, I think starting out, I don't know if I would do this again the way like I did it. I think being the face of a token is extremely stressful, and I almost feel like I was responsible for people's money, but I can't control it. So it's like, I don't know. It was a lot. It was kind of just like a fun experiment. I think in May, I just launched a dummy token just to see, and it was kind of fun to learn that stuff. And then I was talking to a developer who has this like kind of like crypto hedge fund, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll partner with you guys and add like some liquidity from the start." So we ended up like kind of crowdfunding for this thing, and in like 48 hours we raised $500,000, and it was just like, oh my God, like, not ready for this. Like our goal was like 10,000, and it's like, oh my God, like I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but we launched everything. Definitely a little bit rocky, but like no major issues. So it's kind of good to get that launched. And I think we bridged to a bunch of different chains, and this whole thing was kind of just like, I wanted a project where I could like learn by doing. And I think this was like kind of, the start to, just getting into it. So that was like super fun. I think, the project kind of failed. It's still going. There's still like a decent amount of liquidity in the system, but like, I think Ethereum gas fees like totally like snuffed it. Like, Ethereum was our main chain. And I think the biggest mistake that I made was we burned kind of like the LP tokens that gave it the initial value. So we could, but it's good and bad. I mean, it makes sure that like the token will always have value so people can like trust us. But then the bad thing is I can't redeem that and move that over to a cheaper chain like Binance Smart Chain instead of having to like pay a lot of money to buy everything back and then moving it over. So I've had a few ideas of like what to do in the future. I think instead of making a brand new community, I might just make a token for my community and then give people an airdrop who were like involved in the initial one. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I also want to figure out how to integrate NFTs, like membership NFTs. But I think right now, I don't know, with the whole gas fee thing, I'm just like, I'm over Ethereum. I don't want to work with Ethereum anymore. I want to focus on the other chains. I just think like Ethereum for the average person, it's not feasible right now. It's like insane. I think I moved my stuff over to Polygon from Ethereum like once and paid like $500 in gas fees just to move stuff from one chain to another. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just like, I think Binance Smart Chain is probably the most realistic one, but I don't think I want to do a meme coin anymore. This first one was just like a fun meme coin. But I think this time around, I want to do a very serious, like, token, but I also want it to be fun. I want to, do something. And I think like, taking inspiration. I think the one person I saw, like JRNY Crypto, he launched this set of like these NFTs that gave people access to his community. And oh my God, he made like, I think his wallet is like public, and he made like 55 million from it. It's like insane. And he has like 600,000 YouTube subscribers, like nothing like too out of reach. But he was able to figure out, and, make that work. That's insane. But like, some kind of access I think would be cool. And my thought back then was like create an education platform that people can get paid for. But I just didn't really have the team or like the execution at that point to be able to do that. But that is definitely something I'm looking into, is like how to reward people for, learning, which is kind of what we chatted about last
night. Boom.
I was so excited because it feels like
were those magic words? Were those magic words? I just
yeah. We have all the best educators, and through Jase's amazing network, he is probably like the most famous teacher in the world, because of the songs that I mean in ASL for sure, and it's awesome because this opens up the doors to all these incredible educators. And like you're saying, I read Naval's books, and it's all about like, you get the value back at like, depending on how many people you can reach. Yeah. And so these people creating incredible stuff for these 100 students that they have in the classroom, or like, whatever the number of followers they can have by not making 50 videos a day, but like once a week, in their free time, because they are so invested in like actually doing this. But then us coming in and scaling this to the whole world.
That's where it changes.
That's where it's just asking to be made. But, there are so many parameters, you have to have the trust of these educators. You have to you have to know something about education. You have to know something about the IT. You have to know something about the influence. My feeling is that we were starting to see all necessary elements. And then it's up to us. It's almost I think it's pretty rare to have all these elements, and not from the kind of the corporate, structure, but from the just the community of people that are willing to come together and create this. So my feeling is that we should. It's like Elon was saying, I was 98% sure that this rocket thing will not work, but mistakes that I will make will be really helpful to people that would be doing it after me. And then 2%, and he got it was, I don't want to say lucky, but it worked, and it's awesome. And so I think we're at almost at the same stage. It's it's a bit unknown. It's a lot of work, but at the same time, we are in the incredible, kind of combination of elements.
The timing, the position, it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and especially in 2021, crypto adoption is just it's definitely getting mainstream. We're getting there, and I feel like it's not going to go away. I feel like it's too mainstream at this point. There's too many different types of stuff in the Web3 space where I feel like if one falls, all of them probably aren't going to implode.
And that's huge. Yeah,
that's awesome. And another feeling that I have is, it feels so cool to be supported and appreciated by people that you respect, because I see I'm now really exploring the YouTube and Instagram and TikTok space, and looking at all the the influencers, etc. And out of hundreds or thousands, there are not so many that I feel this resonance, and then I honestly want to support. I honestly want to see Matt gain million followers next year, and I want to do everything that I can to support you, because it's awesome. I resonate with the mission, and I think it's so important. And so having this community of creators that support each other in this way and kind of exchange complementary superpowers, I think it's so good for us as humans too.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to learn is definitely to learn together, and share insights, because that's just exponential at that point.
That's it. And I used to be in the music business, and I had, the reason I left the music business was because I had such idealized notions, like the kind of things we're talking about now. And in education, we're at a moment where that's possible. I mean, it's like being an A&R guy, right? Looking out for what's the best music. Okay, this band is playing over here, and they're incredible, but how many people know who they are, right? It's this teacher's in his classroom, or you can make analogies with what sports and people scouting for athletes, right? It's it's the same type of thing, but in education, it's whoa, the powers that these people have to help people, and not that you're not learning when you're buying an album or going to a concert or watching a movie or a sports game, but there's something just even obviously more vital about talented teachers. Getting them out there and this is when the MOOC thing happened. This is what we thought was going to happen. And it's interesting when you're talking about friends saying, how can I work and also learn on the side? I mean, that's what we learned from the MOOC experiment. It was the idea of a massive open online course in the sense of getting people together was great in theory, but it was this colossal weight of responsibility, and this huge thing, and people said, what about bite-sized learning, and that's where I think TikTok, right, and this is where it's going to keep going, and that's how I felt at the time. And now I'm wow, it's just about, I know so many teachers out there who write, who make videos, who can just do really cool short things and get them out there. So it's amazing meeting you, because I'm that guy, he's doing it and he's killing it.
I totally can see it, because it's from MOOCs, and there's a wonderful article I will share on this video and in the podcast that talks about the evolution of education and the 4 main stages, and how it went. From the kind of Coursera kind of thing to Kajabi kind of thing, where you to now cohort kind of thing. And then it stops there because it's kind of 4 or 5 months ago was written. It's beautiful. And now I can totally see it. Okay, cohort. What's the next iteration? No, it's the communities that incentivize.
Yeah, the true disruption is coming. The true disruption is coming.
These are students that are making money by completing courses. They are not spending money on their education and ridiculous amount of money, but they are making money. Turns it upside down, and this is where it's all going. And we are just we now can see it clearly, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee. So you just do it.
I mean, going through my boot camp experience, the thing I saw that was the hardest for people for sure was either not having time to be able to do the full course or not having the money. And I partnered with this company called Correlation One, and we ran this campaign for their boot camp, which the company they get corporations to sponsor the students and pay for the students' course. And then it kind of helps them have this network of job searching afterward. And that's I feel getting really, really close. I think the only downside is, again, the student would need to figure out how to have funds to be able to live for that point in time. So I feel we're getting so close. We're if you can have a course like that, but then a student also earns for the amount of effort they put into the course, they earn money or earn crypto for it. I think that would be the key. I think would be awesome. And going back to your short form learning thing, I think the biggest issue I have with online courses now is they have these online courses for $10, but they're 25, 30 hours long, and it's I don't have time to do these. I don't, and it's great. I love how you can get education for cheap now, but it's I need stuff. I just don't have time. I need, if I want to learn something, I need to have bite-sized courses. I need 1 hour here or there. I just don't have time to do a 30-hour course in every subject that I'm interested in.
No, and maybe with the bite size, you will decide at some point to do that, and maybe more to the point, you'll have the income and the time so you can do it. Then you'll do that long thing, but that it's just not conceivable.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have asked me about all this creator stuff, so I'm thinking about making this creator course, and the ones that I found online, they're all 15, 20 hours long, and it was I can figure out how to make this thing in 2 hours. It's not that crazy. And as long as I can figure out how to get it concise.
Here's an hour. And actually, the way that Masterclass does it, it's wonderful, masterclass.com. Yeah. But they don't go the full kind of path. They give this knowledge of these amazing people, but you need to break it down for people. You need to have outline the outcomes. And moreover, what we're doing with Relevant, with my company, every day after each bite-sized instruction, you actually get to do things. And then if you actually, first thing, okay, create your TikTok description. Here's the best practice. Okay, now you send your what you've done, and people get a kind of comment and Then next thing, first video. Okay, here's your stack. Order it. Next lesson. Here is you put the position, put the light on your face, take a picture, took a picture, boom. Now first video. So it's so obvious, that it's not about learning. It's about getting the result that you want in life and changing your life. But you can't do it without learning new stuff. So do it, learn as you do. By the end of the course, you literally is a new person with the outcome that you want.
And I mean, I feel that 80-20 rule really is true, where it's you probably don't need that full 20-hour course. There's probably there's a much smaller amount that you actually
no doubt.
Results.
And this is where educators come in. This is where we come in, because we make this proportion between 80 and 20 because we've experienced it, and we've done all the 80 for you, so you don't have to. And that's value that we are providing, and this is what people will be paying for, not to go through 4 years of experiments and just get the outcomes.
I mean, I'd pay way more for like a 2-hour course versus a 20-hour course if it just had like, everything that I actually needed. Like I would pay like 20 times as much for like the 2-hour course.
Yes, and it's so exciting to listen to you guys talk about this because, like, once again, the OG here, like looking back, it was like we were so excited. Okay, MOOCs are going to disrupt the 40-year bachelor's degree. And it's like it's not that the disruption is not going to happen, right? Like that's what we got excited about. We thought so much about. We imagine the destruction more than we like disruption. I said destruction. That's a good Freudian slip right there. Yeah, the disruption and ultimately the destruction of like the elitist, expensive, gated like educational like so like there's that, and then there's also like the public school system that has So I'm in both I'm in both side camps. Like we're gonna disrupt both of these things with these MOOCs and all of this, and it's like what hasn't changed, and that's what's so exciting, is that the disruption it's going to happen. So it's more like figuring out the disruption, and that's what we're talking about now. And we're getting closer. I can feel it.
I mean, I feel like we definitely are getting closer. Like college is like so generalized compared to going something to like a coding boot camp, where the boot camp's much more like a trade school. It's like it's training you for the job exactly. When college is great, I mean, it teaches you a lot of the theory and stuff, but like the ultimate goal of college isn't necessarily to get you a job, right? Like it's like to give you a well-rounded education, but you kind of maybe miss out on a lot of the stuff like what does it take to get a job. I mean, I know so many people who got out of college and were like, I don't know what I'm going to do for work. Like I literally don't know. And I was kind of in the same boat. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do for work.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow, it's so exciting. And Matt, thank you so much. I think it was there's so much content in this hour that is super useful and inspiring, and definitely the call to action. I'll try and make sure that we make a podcast out of it, and we reach out to the educators I know must watch it, etc. And then everyone who's watching, circle back to us, because that's the whole point, is to bring together the complementing powers. If you want to do this and try the social media thing, and you have incredible content, like this is what we are here for, to so that we also can focus on our things, and we can focus on strategy and making sure that like we build the system, but we don't have to think about the content, because you have the content. So I feel incredible potential in this, but for first thing, we have to not be shy to reach out and to say, hey guys, I'm here, I'm inspired, let's do something together. This is what I have.
I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, guys. Wow, so much fun.
Thank you both.
Matt, you're the man.
Yeah, Matt,
you guys, thank you.
Inspiring. Yeah, you can't even imagine how wonderful and useful this is, because everyone like feels that they have to figure it out on their own. And it's wonderful to hear from someone who has put in and again so much that you don't realize how much you've put in. And I'm always saying about this S-Power that Quincy Jones was talking about in his interview. He was talking about Michael Jackson, how this is the person, we know him as a dancer, but we don't know him as like a person
work
just like sit and work in the studio for weeks and months, just like finishing it and just making it.
But we got to go. But that's the thing about the best passionate educators. That's what we do. We sit there, we get, we create, and we'll do it. And we're not afraid to like, okay, that won't work. Let's try something else. So like we are built, we are hardwired. The most passionate teachers, the most effective teachers, we are hardwired for the kind of experimentation that you're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? It's more like somebody saying like, that's what I did. Stick to it, do it. It's not like we have to learn to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not at all. We're ready.
Okay.
Cool. Well, if anyone watching right now has any questions, my DMs are always open. I respond to every single DM, so I'll make sure to get to you within a day or two.
Talking about that, information. Yeah,
That is
person
so
with
cool.
500,000 followers responding.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Because I say that to people too, but it's a bit less of a responsibility for me.
I have a reminder that goes
I
off
don't know
every
if
morning.
I get to where Matt is. I hope that I can keep telling people I respond to every DM. But yeah,
I stopped replying to every single comment because it was like impossible, and it was
yeah.
destroying my life. But like DMs are like reasonable. I have a notification that goes off every morning saying clean up your DMs.
Okay, good for
That's
you,
awesome.
man. Good for you. Well, stay up, man. Stay up. It's beautiful what you're doing. We're so happy you could be on Learning with Boom and Fluency. Yeah, man. I don't know if Boom told you, but when we get the podcast, we got some super guests. We have to edit them up. We've been putting them out live, so we're gonna come out with like 3 or 4. But I'm gonna make raps it's called the wrap up, the RAP up, which is like a little summary of what we did and who you are. So I'm gonna make a little customized freestyle thing for you. So that's coming. That's coming.
Okay. Thank you, wonderful people. You are incredible, and let's keep doing this. It's
awesome.
Yeah, we will, no doubt. All right, Matt, take care, man.
Awesome. Hey,
Hope
you
to
too.
see you guys soon, man. Let's talk soon. Cheers.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
See
Ciao.
you.
Respect.